So, the Bradford, Pennsylvania story, I had a lot of requests for that. This is actually the second time I'm shooting this video because first time the audio screwed up again, but I think I've solved it. I had to reset the system management controller here on the computer because the power has been a little weird lately. I installed the UPS, but that's besides the point. So the Bradford, Pennsylvania story. What happened? Well, basically the point of this story is that New York actually isn't the worst at everything, as hard as that is to believe. So what happened? Well, a few years ago, and again, everything I tell you in this story is true, I don't make this stuff up. A few years ago, my parents, I, and my friend Dan took a vacation to the Bradford, Pennsylvania Zippo lighter factory. And it was a good time. I've shown you the slideshows of the Zippo Museum. Excuse me. And we had a great time there. It's a nice little town to check out. There's a lot of different factories in that area. The K-Bar factory, you just got to go north in New York a bit, and there's like a Jello museum. It's a pretty cool place. But we go to the Zippo Museum, and afterwards, we're going to have a little fun at the hotel room. My parents need to buy some beer. Now, I wasn't 21 at the time, and neither was my friend Dan because he's 2 years younger than me. But we go to the supermarket, and I think it was called Weiss or something like that. Wise, which, if you've never been out of your own state, you will notice that supermarkets and stores that are like familiar to you, they don't exist in other states for the most part. It's really weird. If you've never been out of your state, it's quite an experience. Like around here, our supermarkets are like Price Chopper and Hannaford's, and if you've never been in New York, those are probably unfamiliar to you, whereas some of the other supermarkets that I saw in Pennsylvania were unfamiliar to me. It's really strange. You should get out more often. But we go there, and my parents walk inside, and we all walk in, try to buy a case of beer. And there's no beer. There's no beer anyway. So, speaking of beer, Blue Moon is what we're going to be drinking tonight. And there's no beer at all. And this is very strange to us because in New York, you want a case of beer, you go into the supermarket and you get a case of beer. So we walk out confused, like, is this a dry town or something? Because some uptight towns that, we won't get into my thoughts on that, are actually dry towns and they don't sell alcoholic beverages there because they're the devil's firewater, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So we walk out and we're in the parking lot and we're kind of scratching our head. Is there another supermarket around here? What should we do? This is, is there an outlet or something? And this guy starts walking across the parking lot, and then we stop and we say, hey, excuse me, we're not from around here. We're from New York. What is the deal with the beer? We noticed in the supermarket there's no beer here. Is this a dry town or something? And the guy says, no, man, in Pennsylvania, you can't buy beer at the supermarket. You have to buy it at a liquor outlet or some other qualified store. I can't remember what the actual word for it was. Now, this is very strange. What the hell is with that policy? You can't buy beer at the supermarket. Well, if you were from New York, that's very strange to you. And I would imagine quite a few other states that's very strange to you because most states, you just go into the supermarket, you buy what you need, and there you go. But not in Pennsylvania. You got to get it from an official dealer. So apparently that includes bars. If you hear yelping in the background, it's my sister's little dog. She's on a 2-week vacation to Hawaii, and we get the little yapper. So there he is. But so he says we got to go to a bar. And so we say, do you know, can you recommend a place that we can go around here? And here's the best part of this story right here. And like I said, I did not make this up. Shit, dribbled there a little on myself. But he says, well, you can go to this bar down at the one end of the street, but people get shot in there all the time, so you probably don't want to go to that one. I'd say go to the one at the other end of the street. Now, I appreciate his candidness, but that's a pretty weird thing to say to a stranger on the street. But hey, I'm not complaining, but that just shows you do see some real weird people out there in this world. Yeah, you can go to the one at the end of the street, but people get shot in there all the time, so you probably don't want to go to that one. Okay, thanks. We'll go to the one at the other end of the street. I think we actually ended up going to the one where people always get shot, and we survived somehow. And we eventually did get our beer, but it's really strange. What a weird policy. Oh, you can't buy beer at the supermarket. Why the hell not? Is that some sort of trying to prevent people from getting beer nonsense? What the hell is up with that? It's just a very strange policy. One of those interstate policies is very strange. Well, and then that's basically the story. But that's so weird. Oh yeah, you can go in there, but you might get shot. So anyway, so if your state has any weird interstate policies that you either think is better in your state and it sucks in another state, or you think that it sucks in your state and it's better, excuse me, in another state, I'd like to hear about it. I would like to hear if there's any weird state policies that you have that you either like or dislike. Of course, I hate everything about New York, pretty much, but like another for a good one, not a bad one. There's some states around here. I think it's like New Hampshire or Vermont. No, I think it's New Hampshire where you don't get charged sales tax or something like that. You don't get any state sales tax, whereas here it's like 8, 9, 10% state sales tax. So yeah, if you have any interstate stories where you either took a vacation to another state and really liked one of their policies, or like what the hell is up with that, I would like to hear about it. And I hope you enjoyed this Bradford, Pennsylvania story. And if you go there, it's a nice place. Just don't go to that bar. You might get shot. Take it easy.